Alright, this lesson is going to be elimination, 6.3, elimination using addition and subtraction. This one's pretty, like I said, this one's pretty simple as far as the process goes. It's a new process, different process of that than substitution as far as to solve systems of equations. Okay, so we're going to get the same kind of problems, except we're going to get different style, different approach. Okay, everybody good? Alright, now your steps for these are as follows. Number 1, write the system so like terms with the same or opposite coefficients are aligned. Now typically this one's done for you because a lot of times they write equations in alphabetical order, so it's usually done for you. Sometimes they'll get tricky on you and flip-flop them. All you got to do is rewrite it so the two equations go xy, xy, or ab, ab. All right, depending on whatever you have. Step 2, add or subtract the equations together. Now that's a little weird. You're going to take the left side of the equations, add or subtract them, the right side of the equations, add or subtract them, and make it one equation. The purpose of that is when you make it one equation, one of your variables is going to be 0 or eliminate itself. Hence why this is called elimination. They get really creative with the titles. Step 3, substitute the value from step 2 into one of the equations and solve for the other variable. And just like 6.1 or 6.2 substitution, write the solution as an ordered pair. Alright, so this is called, we're going to solve this guy by elimination. So we have 4x plus 6y equals 32, and we have 3x minus 6y equals 3. Alright, so step 1 says to make sure you have like terms lined up. So x's are like terms, they're lined up. Y's are like terms, they're lined up. Your numbers, technically, your constants here, they're like terms and they're lined up. Make sure everything's lined up. Okay. Now that we know everything is lined up, step 2 says add or subtract the equations together, eliminating one variable. Okay, so I'm going to take, make an equal sign, equal bar. And we're going to add these all together. And we're going to kind of do it individually. So we're basically doing 4x plus 6y plus 3x minus 6y. So what's 4x plus 3x? 7x. Okay, 6y plus a negative 6y.
0.
Thank you, 0. That's the elimination. That's what you're looking for to make sure this is going to work the way it should. All right, 6y plus negative 6y is 0y. Equals 32 plus 3? 35. All right. Now, this is the equation that they're talking about, number 2. So to solve this guy, you're going to divide by
7.
Divide by 7, so x equals
5.
Notice the difference. Notice how quickly you get your first answer here, especially when it's set up nice and pretty, already ready for you. All right. They won't all be like that. They will today, but not always. All right. Now, where do you go with the 5? Dylan. Which one? Doesn't matter. Pick your poison. I'm going to do top one. So 4 times 5 plus 6y equals 32. It's going to be 20 plus 6y equals 32. What am I going to do from here? Subtract 20. 6y equals 12. Divide by 6. Y equals 2. And last step, write them as a ordered pair. So 5, 2, and you are done. Don't let the signs kind of throw you off here, okay? I don't know how you guys are taught, but I always try to add first. Okay? If you can add them and they eliminate, great. That's my first go-to. Once we get to the next lesson, that is what we'll do. We'll add every single time. So this one here, you're also set up to add right away. Okay, negative 4x plus 4x gives you the 0. Okay, doesn't matter which one you eliminate. All right, if it's one of them for today, one will be set up to eliminate basically. So then you go through the rest, and the 3x or 3y plus a negative 5y gives you negative 2y. Okay, be careful with that. And then negative 3 plus 5 gives you 2. Divide by negative 2, so y equals negative 1. Everybody good there? Okay, take negative 1 in for y. We'll go with the bottom this time. So, whoops. There we go. So 4x minus 5 times negative 1 equals 5. So 4x plus 5 equals 5. What do I do next? Subtract 5. What do I get? 4x equals 0. So what's x? Nope, 0. It's 0, okay? You're asking yourself, it's when the variable falls out. That's when you're looking at funny business, okay? Here the variable did not fall out. You're saying what number times 4 gives you 0? By gosh, it's 0. Easiest question, it is the easiest question I will ever ask you. What number times a number gives you 0? It's 0. Order pair them up. 0, negative 1. All right, number 3, we have 5x plus 2y equals 6. We have 9x plus 2y equals 22. Now, this one's different than the first two. Okay, this one, from the look of it, if you add them together, has nothing that'll fall out, right? 5x plus 9x gives you 14x. 2y plus 2y gives you 4y. Nothing falls out, nothing cancels. Okay, but this is where you're looking at like terms and being trying to make them opposite. All right, so here we're going to look at which variable, x's or y's? Y's. Okay, the y's are each 2y, which helps you when you eliminate. Instead of adding this time, what are we going to do? Subtract, logically, right? 2y minus 2y, 0. Gone. Goodbye. But since we're subtracting the y's, what else do we have to make sure we do?
Subtract the 5x and 9 and the 6.
Subtract everywhere else too. You can't just do subtraction on the one, add on the one, divide on the other. Okay? You have to make sure you stay consistent with what you do. Okay? So, for this one here, you're subtracting. So I always put, whenever I'm subtracting, I put a big minus sign right there. To remind myself, hey, Mormon, you're subtracting. Yes, I do say that to myself. Yes, I'm a little crazy. For those of you that haven't figured that out yet. And then I do it. All right, so it's 5x minus 9x? Negative 4x. Negative 4x. There you go, Isaiah. It's 2y minus 2y? 0. Good. What's 6 minus 22? Negative 16. All right. Divide by negative 4. X equals 4. Okay. And as long as you remember that, they're pretty simple problems. Okay. So I'm going to plug in. I'm going to go up top here. So 5 times 4 plus 2y equals 6. 20 plus 2y equals 6. 2y equals what? Negative 12? Negative 14. Sorry. So y equals negative 7. All right, so number 1, don't freak out because the variables changed. All right, just make sure they're aligned. All right, now, if for some reason, on the book they'll never do this. There's no typos in the book, hopefully. But on a quiz or a test, usually they won't be either unless I'm putting in my own problem and I accidentally mistype. All right? There should only be 2 types of variables. There should never be 3. All right? So no matter what the 2 variables are, as long as there's only 2, you're fine. If it's like A and B and then B and C or A and C, something's wrong, ask me. But that'll be a rare case. All right? Now, since you have 8a and 8a, we're going to do what operation? Subtract. All right, so 8a minus 8a is going to give us 0a. 3b minus 7b is going to give us negative 4b. And then 11 minus 7 gives us what? 4. So b equals what?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Okay? B equals negative 1. I'm going to sub that into the bottom equation. So 8a plus 7 times negative 1 equals 7.
That makes sense.
7 times negative 1 gives you what? Negative 7. So 8a minus 7 equals 7. What do we do with that 7? Add it. So 8a equals what? 14. So do you get fractions? Yeah, you get at least one. Okay? Do not just assume since you got a fraction that you're wrong. Okay? You guys did a good job staying confident with your fraction answers, okay? Did you do a thing with fractions until the very, very end? Yes or no? We divide by 8 first, right? Okay. So a equals 14/8. Reduce that by 2, which is 7/4, right? You get one fraction at the very, very end. Now, you guys didn't do it, but you know what most people's reaction to that is? You got it wrong. Just because there's a fraction that showed up at the end. Don't assume you're wrong. Does anybody know? I don't know if I've said this yet. Does anybody know how you can check?
Go back and plug it in.
Go back and plug them in. Both of them. They both got to work in both equations. Okay? So you can go back and plug these in for A and B up here and check. So 7/4 times 8, negative 1 times 3, see if you get 11. 7/4 times 8, negative 1 times 7, see if you get 7. Last question for you on this one. How do you write your ordered pair? Isaiah.
Yeah. A goes first.
Good. Alphabetically. All right. If they're not X and Y, you assume alphabetical order. Okay. Negative 3 times one number plus 5 times another number is negative 11. 3 times the first number plus 7 times the other number is negative 1. Find the numbers. Alrighty, negative 3 times one number plus 5 times another number is negative 11. 3 times the first number plus 7 times the other number is negative 1. Find the numbers. This is leading into, we're kind of taking a word problem per lesson here. There's a full section of word problems later on. It's 6.5. Okay, you're talking about late next week with that. Mid to late next week with that. So be ready. First thing you do is what?
Set the equation.
No.
Oh, read the problem.
Okay, second thing you do is?
Pick out the key factors. Keywords.
Make your equation.
Oh, you said that.
Define your variables. There we go. Number 2.
You're so silly.
Define your variables. X is number 1. Y, number 2. Okay, so negative 3 times one number, so negative 3x, plus 5 times another number is negative 11. 3 times the first number plus 7 times the other is negative 1. After that, it's pretty simple. All right, so add these together. You get 12y equals negative 12. So y equals negative 1. Okay, be careful with that. And then plugging back in. So 3x plus 7 times negative 1 equals negative 1. 3x minus 7 equals negative 1. 3x equals 6, so x equals 2. So your two numbers are 2 and -1. Homework is page 354. 7 through 23 odd, along with number 31.